We've arrived at Sanctuary Wood, and there's some preserved trenches here. The British named it Sanctuary Wood because in 1914 they took shelter in these woods, and we're going to have a little look round. They are the original British second line trenches from 1915 and 1916. So we're going to have a little look round. There's a museum as well to look at. And I don't know how long we'll be here for. A while. So this is Sanctuary Wood, where the trenches are, and it's saying that they are the British front line 1914 to 1918. So let's have a look. Got various things here. What's that bomb called? Is it like a lollipop bomb or something?
I'm not sure. It's got some name. Maybe find out what it is and put it up on screen. Yeah.
I think this is some kind of projectile thing, isn't it?
Well, projector for projectiles, should we say.
Yeah. These here are what they call Livens projects.
Ah, sorry.
It's a Livens projectors, and I think they
were for firing gas shells, weren't they?
They were for firing gas shells. So it's a Livens projector.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here we have a collection of screw pickets. We've not talked about these. So basically, at the start of the war, they'd go out into no man's land in the middle of the night, and they'd start hammering in a stake to hang barbed wire. Bad idea. People just shoot in the direction of the noise that was coming. So these were developed actually by the Swiss, and it's got a screw thread. You put a stick through and just screw it into the ground silently, and then hang your barbed wire on. No need to hammer in staples to hold the barbed wire either. And they were much more successful. As I say, the Swiss made them and sold them to both sides.
So basically they just screw them into the ground, and then you could thread barbed wire across in these, isn't it?
Silent, absolutely silent.
Yeah.
Right, should we go down the trench now?
Let's go down the trench. There's all sorts of stuff here, isn't there? All these shells. Tell you what. We've got a collection of these at home, haven't we?
We have, yeah. We bought them, so they're safe.
Safe, yeah. Right. So according to this, the British front line, 1914 to 1918. I always thought it was the second line, so the support or the reserve, not sure which.
Right, this is the reality of war. A shell hole. And also it fills with water, so if you want to try and shelter in there to get some cover, you're going to get soaked, drenched. Men drowned in these.
So this gives you an idea. Well, actually, they are the original ones. I think they just maintain them, don't they?
Well, they're 100% genuine.
Yeah. So we may come across some mud and water. And this is another firing thing where a sniper could stick his gun through there. What gun would it be? Rifle? I don't know.
Would it be a Lee Enfield?
Well, that's not for sniping, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not up on that.
I'm not up on that.
So I'll have a little look down here.
As you can see, it zigzags.
It's traverse. This is so that any shell exploding on one part of the trench, not all the men would get
Only men in that
killed.
very small, short section would die.
Got some mud down here.
Equally, if an enemy got into the trench, they could only shoot the men in the length of that trench before it turned the corner.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to have to duck down here. I don't remember it being like this before. Oh. What the heck? And if we look over here, you can just see some, can't really pick it up so well on these cameras, but there's shell holes there.
Just everywhere.
There. A little bit further along. just there. Let's carry on a bit further. So you've got, yeah, I thought this was a second line, the British second line, so either a support or reserve, I'm not sure which. Oh, it's really muddy here. Good luck in your sandals. Oh, blooming heck. It gets a bit worse down here. And down here, which I'm not going to go through because it will be really,
Soggy.
really bad.
Stand back in, look from there maybe.
I can see it here, look.
Yeah.
Down there is,
An underground tunnel.
yeah, and they would be going to and from, I expect, from the front line, wouldn't they?
Mm.
Towards the battlefield, so it would shelter them a lot and they would be able to hide under there, probably sleep,
down there.
but also you'd think of all the rats with the lice, trench foot and everything to deal with. So that's where we've just come from. We're not going to go down all of it. It's quite muddy, wet.
We haven't even had that much rain, yet it's in this state.
But you've got, what is it, higher water table, is that what you call it?
That could be what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Hill 62, but it's
No,
barely...
Hill 62 is up there. This is, yeah.
Right, this is just below Hill 62. Did the
Yes.
Germans hold Hill 62 then?
Well, that's the sort of thing I wanted to find out.
Right.
I don't think you should walk across that. Is it safe to walk across?
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah, it's solid. Just hold on to the handrail.
It's supported by screw pickets.
Yeah.
I better not go through. I'm heavier than you.
And look at these shell holes here,
Yeah, look.
everywhere.
All these shell holes, all left from the battle. All left from the First World War. All preserved. It's a reminder, isn't it?
It's just sobering.
So the direction that they would have been going in would have been that way.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Right, okay.
all along that way, because up there is Hill 62. That's a high ground. It's
Look.
62 metres above sea level. Is that right?
I'm not sure. Just
It
look
is.
at that. You take shelter. You need to take shelter in a shell hole to prevent yourself from dying. You'd have to get into that.
Well, I think any of us would go in it, wouldn't we? If it was a matter of life and death.
Yeah. Another sniper plate here.
You have to really be careful around here. There's no barrier or warnings, is there?
Well,
You know, and it carries on further down here.
it's refreshing to be less obsessed with health and safety, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You know, buyer beware.
So shall we, because it kind of peters out up here, I'm presuming, which it would have done, it would have carried on through
Oh.
those fields.
For
Yeah,
hundreds of miles.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
literally hundreds of miles.
there's a little bit more further up. So there's a really good museum that we've come through before we come out to this, and it's got guns used in the war and all artillery shells and uniforms, helmets, everything, and it's got beautiful trench art from that they use from the, is it bronze?
It's brass. It's
Brass.
It's the shell casings,
Brass shell casings, yeah.
and they were formed into beautiful trench art by some very skilled men.
So some more craters there, and this is some more of the trench. I'm presuming this is probably a communication trench. You see, I think that can't have been the front line. That's a reserve or support. This is going up.
Yeah.
This must be a communication trench. It's a bit confusing,
Maybe
isn't
this
it?
is the front line. Very soggy in there if you look down into there, just to get a perspective.
Yeah,
It's not even
ground's
rained
quite-
particularly much, and yet
Yeah.
that is what it's like in September. Imagine what it would be like through the cold, dark, dank winter. Because snow on the ground. In there.
Yeah, look at this.
There's a dugout here, which obviously.
Well, it goes to nowhere right now, but...
Well, no, it doesn't go anywhere. It's a dugout for probably officers.
Oh, yeah, they'll have...
To probably a table in there with the table in there for maps and drawings and meetings, possibly using maybe have stretchers in there and even an operating table in there.
So let's have a look up here. Yeah, it kind of... That's, if you look down there...
Into the tunnel.
That's another one.
Mm.
There's another tunnel there, isn't there? But we're not going to go in that because it's...
Very soggy.
Very soggy. Could just peek up here. If we can get close enough up here. So that up there is Hill 62.
Hill 62, the summit is 62 metres above sea level, is now a memorial park commemorating the Canadian soldiers who fought and died here. From April to August 1916, this part of the line was held by the 1st Independent and exclusively Canadian Army Corps. During the Battle of Mount Sorrel, between the 2nd and 13th of June 1916, the Canadians were first pushed off the hill and they managed to recapture it, albeit at a heavy cost.
To be honest, if anyone can give us more detail about what happened here, you're very welcome. You know, we try as best to find as much information out as we can. We've got Littleton on signal at the moment, haven't we?
Mm.
And we've been coming here a few times now. We've been here a few times over the years, and we do find it quite interesting to see.
Sobering as well.
Well, yeah, to see it's just left. It's like a time capsule.
The entrance to the museum is €8 if you ever fancy making this trek to these areas. Not bad value, I don't think.
Absolutely not, no. So now...
That's the tunnel.
Oh yeah, I'm going to go down a little bit. You got to think though, as well, it would have only been lit by candlelight. I'm not going to go right far. But there you go, it's pitch black. See if I can get zoomed in a bit more. Not very well. It's pitch black in there. You can't really shine a light in that. You need a good torch.
You do.
But it meant that soldiers could shelter in there.
And also get close to the front line safely.
And feel relatively safe as can be. But it does look quite grim. So I'll come on out of there. I think we've been down there before when it's dry and you literally can't see a thing at all.
Well, I went down there, if you remember. I went down there. We went down there in November.
Yeah, we did.
And we had our walking boots on, and the water actually went up over my boots, certainly.
Went over mine.
Yeah, when it was wet and miserable feet. And
only for a brief while.
Yeah, we didn't get trench foot.
So looking across here, shell crater, and here are the original trees from First World War, and people have left poppy crosses and wreaths, literally bullet holes. I think there's some more further round, isn't there? There's another one here.
They're dotted about.
And they've protected them with a bit of barbed wire, haven't they? Because they are dead.
Well, they've put the barbed wire on for effect, but also to hold them from collapsing, and they've put a metal stake in there to try and shore them up.
And this one as well. You got to think also, around here, all these trees here that are there now are new, fairly new.
Well, less than...
Because this is all that would have been left, like stumps.
Yeah.
And somebody's left a little
Canadian
pin badge there.
Sweet, isn't it?
And over here is another one. Just over here. This is all after the battle. After the battle, this is all that would have been remaining of these woods.
It could well have been this shell that destroyed that tree.
Well, I actually think they've dug a tree out there, because if you look here, and that where the roots would have gone, I'm wondering if they've dug a tree out there.
No, I don't think so. It's a shell
But anyway,
hole just like these. Just look at those.
Shell holes. Imagine what force would have created that small shell hole. It's a small shell hole at the side of something like Loch Nagar.
Well, that's a mine rather than a shell.
Yeah, well it is, yeah. But it's left a crater like Loch Nagar. And some more over here.
Ah, here's the most famous tree.
Yeah, this is the famous tree I was telling you about. It's the tallest one that's remaining from the battlefield, and it's
Held
littered with tons and tons of poppy crosses all around there, all around here, and I think they've protected it. Look, they've put some cement on to protect it and wrapped it round with some kind of support.
I won't read it, but somebody's written a bit of a poem. All Hallows Catholic School, and it's a sort of addressed to the Heavenly Father, and talking about the fallen and such like. So that's good that the kids learn history.
I seem to think, well, yeah, look at it here. That's cement or concrete, isn't it? Because they're trying to protect
hold
it.
it up. Yeah.
So are these bullet holes, do you think? Or
I think, well, they'd be bloody big woodworm, wouldn't they?
Exactly, yeah, that's there.
Yes, they're bullet holes.
They're bullet holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. An absolute time capsule, isn't it? Absolute. And shell holes here. Just walking by one there. Look at these shell holes. That's quite deep. But it may have been enough. You can't really get it in perspective. I'll tell you what, you hold it.
I'll tell you, I'll get in.
Oh, you get in then. You get in.
Yeah, I mean, this is dry, and this would be somewhere where you could take cover, isn't it?
You'd have to crouch right
Obviously,
down.
I'd lie down, which I'm not going to do because I've just put new clothes on from having a shower. So I'm not going to lie in the mud just yet. But you could lie down in here with your gun and whatever and take shelter.
Take pot shots at anybody coming at enemy.
Before they took
There's
pot shots at you, which is going to happen.
Enemy, another crater here. More craters. Look, this is, I would say that's just a little stump left over. Probably. Maybe. And this one here, for some reason, is filled with water.
That'd be the one that I'd bloody shelter in, isn't it?
That'd be the one that you would end up sheltering in. Typical.
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting round here.
What do you think, sir?
Well, we do, don't we?
Now, I'm not sure. But that
Oh, I know what that is.
looks to me like a pump.
Yeah, it's
Am
a
I right?
pump.
Yeah, so trying to get the water out of the trench shows you how wet it was if they needed a pump.
Yes, they needed to try and keep the trench as dry as possible, so they used pumps to kind of siphon out any water, because nobody wants to live in really wet conditions. It's bad enough living in damp conditions, but nobody wants to live in absolute damp conditions. I don't know if I can get across here. Looks a bit rickety.
It's okay. Just go for it.
What could possibly go wrong? Oh,